Yes, I've finally built a PC that is not based on a white theme. You ready for this one? Black and red. And thanks to a co-op of sorts between DeepCool and ASUS ROG, I present to you the ROG edition of the DeepCool genome. In fact, from what DeepCool is telling me, this is super cool, I had no idea when they sent the case, what you're about to see on this channel is the first ever official build in an ROG genome, with the exception of the ones that their own teams have done just to kind of showcase the case. So as for the name, I want it to have something to do with just that, being the first. If you have an idea for that, leave it in the comments below. I might choose it in the next video. It's important not only to me, but to my dad. If you read the title, it is his birthday. It will be his birthday on December 5th. He is turning, I believe, 51, if my math is correct, so he's slightly over the hill. Definitely my old man at this point, and he's been asking me for a PC. He's been wanting me to build him one, and I haven't done it for quite a while. Just haven't been home, and I've just been putting it off for whatever reason. But I kind of went overboard with this build, and I think you're going to like it. It may not make sense in terms of like a gaming PC if you look at it from that perspective, but it's definitely something that he could make use of. I think you're going to enjoy this building process. Here we go. So a quick rundown of all of the components you just saw being assembled. The first thing, of course, is that beautiful DeepCool Genome ROG Edition case. It has a nice matte black finish with red trim and includes a 360 all-in-one radiator combo. It's a little overboard for a 10-core Xeon, which was the CPU used in the build, but nonetheless, I mean, it's super quiet. I've even gamed with it and it's still super quiet. And the R9 Fury, that's the card that I threw in there for him. I don't really think I'm going to make much more use of it at this point. I've already done my second set of benchmarks in DirectX 12 with it, so I have those on standby for whenever we pull up those charts for a future video. The motherboard used was the MSI Crate X99 edition. I picked that one up at Micro Center for 120 bucks. Check out this video here if you haven't already. I've explained more about how that happened. And I used 32 gigabytes of A-Pacer Blade DDR4. A-Pacer's been very cool by hooking me up with some DDR4 for these builds, and they do make very unique looking modules. I actually painted these in a previous video white, the red little bars in there, but I decided to keep them red for this build because it fits perfectly with the ROG theme. Two other cool things about the case I want to mention. The first, which wasn't included in the original Genome case that I received as a review sample, is the fact that it has one of those PCI riser cards. You can orient your card however you want to look at it, horizontally or vertically. You can just basically turn it sideways. That way you have your fans facing outward towards you, which I think is a super cool orientation. I would actually prefer that, even though you're kind of choking off your airflow a bit. It's not, going to be super critical. It's no different than really SLI or Crossfire. It was definitely nice to see that included, as well as an entire RGB feature. The entire case is basically RGB integrated, including the AIO and that ASUS ROG logo down there at the bottom left in front of the PSU shroud. So those two things, also with an included RGB strip that's installed up at the top of the case, all work together. And you actually get a remote too. I don't have it with me, but it's one of those white Aura remotes, and you can basically just slide your thumb around the color wheel and it'll just turn it to whatever you slide it to. It's super cool. I really like that function, and it's nice to see that it's included at the case, or with the case, for no extra charge. Even though the case isn't on the cheap side per se, you are getting quite a lot of bang for your buck. It's something that I think enthusiasts should consider, especially if looks are a top priority. Overall though, I'm very satisfied with the way that the build turned out. I think that's thanks largely in part to the beautiful Genome ROG case. I can't emphasize enough how lovely that case is. It looks good on video. It looks even better in person. Even that front little T-virus looking design there, it has no function at all other than just to look awesome. Those kinds of things are what you're getting in a case like that. Let me know in the comments what you think about the build. As I said though, this is going to my dad for his birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. He does watch these videos, by the way. He's driving up next week to help my brothers move some stuff back to Florida. We're moving back for the break, and then we'll be back up here starting January 9th-ish, kind of around there. So the setting will change, and then we'll be back to the same place again for one more semester of this degree, and then we'll be, I don't know, doing something else. Maybe doing YouTube full-time, maybe. Just maybe. Speaking of which, if you want me to keep doing stuff like this full-time, let me know you appreciate the content by giving this video a thumbs up, or other videos. Give this video a thumbs down if you did think that it sucked for whatever reason, or if you just hate everything about life. Be sure to click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and stay tuned for a review of the card I'm giving away. See this video right here if you haven't already? The not Hall of Fame, but the Galax GTX 1070 EXOC, the same graphics card manufacturer that produces the Hall of Fame cards. This isn't the Hall of Fame GTX 1070, but it still has some interesting features, and I'll reveal those in the next video. This is Salazar Studio. Thanks for learning with us.